void? Is it a leader sport? I'm not trying to be cute here. The answer is no. The answer is no.
I'm asking.
There's not a. Well, just shut up and let me answer. No. When I go into the locker room, there's no leadership void in my eyes.
Former Cowboy Marcus Spears here with us. But Stephen A., this is your team, so I'm starting with you. In all seriousness, do you think that Dallas should get rid of Mike McCarthy at this point?
Yeah, I do. I think it's a foregone conclusion. He's not the man for the job. I'm not going to disrespect him by saying he's not worthy of being a head coach in the National Football League. I think this particular situation is not for him. And I think that, when you consider, to me, the ultimate indictment against him was bringing in Mike Nolan. When you got a guy that was last seen as a defensive coordinator 6 years earlier, and he had the second worst defense in the National Football League, and nobody has offered him a defensive coordinator's job for those 6 years, for you to lose your job with Aaron Rodgers as your quarterback, to be gone from the game for a full year, and pretty much a year and a half, going around different practices, talking to different coaches, studying analytics, learning the errors of your ways, supposedly, and all of this other stuff. And then you come back into a new job, and Rod Marinelli and Chris Richard, they were doing a good job as a defensive minds for the Dallas Cowboys the last couple of years or so. And you walk in, and they're gone, and your answer is to bring in a dude that failed 6 years ago. You just showed that all of that stuff that you said you learned meant absolutely nothing. And in the end, what it comes down to, Marcus, in all seriousness, this is what I said yesterday on First Take. You can see the players don't want to play for him. You can see it. Now, I don't know why that is the case. I'm not challenging. I want to be very, very clear. I am not challenging. I'm in no position. I'm not qualified to challenge Mike McCarthy's knowledge of the game of football. I know my basketball, and I covered it for damn near a quarter century, okay? But football, I'm watching, I'm a spectator, and even though Max and Marcus and Molly, I covered it. You know, you're a columnist, you're watching, and you see
what you see. You never had on the shoulder pads.
There you go. I didn't do that. So here's the deal. It's a totally different ball game, and I understand that. But what I do know how to do is listen to people who do know. Listen to aficionados. Hear the kind of things that they say and utilize that as informational tools to gauge and judge the performance of somebody else. One of the things that made me incredibly successful as a beat writer and beyond in the newspaper industry and beyond, I always knew they would sit up there and say, you're not in this locker room, you're not in this locker room. So you know what I used to do, Max and Marcus, at the very beginning of every season? I would go up to the coach, and I would go up to the president of football operations or the president of basketball operations or whatever sport I'm covering, and I'd say to them, define success for me. Not just for this team, but for each individual personnel that's on this squad. And I would always judge according to what they said, define success. And it better be consistent, because the second it wasn't,